How's it going, everybody? Joe from Pentium Tech here, doing a quick overview of what's going into the budget gaming system. First off, we have the Cooler Master K280. If you want to see a quick review of the case, go ahead and click right here. Now, the heart of the system is going to be the new Kaby G4560. It's a two-core, 4-threaded processor. We're running that on the ASRock B250M-HDV. This is right out of the box, ready to handle the new Kaby Lake processors without any flashing of the BIOS. We're running an 8 gig kit of DDR4 RAM. That one happens to be from Ballistics, but really any 8 gig kit will run you a good gaming system. We're going to be running the MSI Armor edition of the Radeon RX 470, and also a Kingston A400 SSD hard drive. This is going to run everything nice and smooth. You're able to boot up really fast and join all your servers first. Then I'm also going to have a 1 terabyte hard drive from Western Digital. This is going to be for file storage and any extra games that won't fit on the SSD. And powering everything is going to be an EVGA 450 watt bronze certified power supply.
enemies have almost won.
Yes. It's only proper. Better yet. I grow by degrees. Oh, slaughter alive. Bow down. I fight. Heal my
The Imperials have the upper hand. We need to press the attack.
Taking hold of the control point.
Weapon free! Move to his flank!
We got a man down!
Actual, this is 5.
Covering.
Perimeter breach in sector 2, Alpha 0. We got 2, maybe more hostiles. Send backup ASAP. Over.
Shit. I'm pinned! This is not a drill, asshole.
Firing! Swing to the right!
Sometimes I feel sorry for these bastards. But mostly, I just kill them.
Alright, so that's the game and build complete. I played a couple hours of gameplay in a couple games. All games were played at 1080p and ultra settings. Battlefield 1 is my favorite game to play right now, so that's one I was most concerned about. And it ran high in the 60s on, for the most part. Some dips into the 40s and 50s, but it wasn't very noticeable while playing the game. So, A+ for that. Dota 2 is not very graphically intensive, so I wasn't really concerned about that. It was running in the high 1 teens, drops down to the 90s. I'm not very good at the game, so honestly I couldn't tell you the difference between 90 and 110, 120 frames per second. I'll try playing more of the game in the future and see if I can get any better on it. Crysis 3 really stressed the system. It averaged around 40 frames a second. It dips into the 30s, sometimes up in the high 50s. But it's a very graphically intensive game, as all of you know, so I wasn't very surprised by that. Battlefront ran nice. It ran around 90 frames per second with dips down to the 70s and 80s, so really around an average of 80 frames a second. I'm very satisfied with the results of it. Some upgrades in the future, I think, definitely adding a 120mm fan to the back for exhaust. It did run a little hot in the system tests. Nothing to be concerned about, but it is something to consider for the future. It's a very cheap upgrade to add longevity to the system. Another thing I would think about adding would be a Hyper T4 or T12 Evo, whichever one goes on sale at the time would probably make the best choice. Another upgrade for the future would probably be going from 8 gigs of RAM to 16 gigs of RAM. 8 gigs run fine, but 16 gigs is always better. And once again, it doesn't really matter the brand. DDR4 right now is really expensive, so that's probably going to be the last upgrade to the system. I didn't run any synthetic benchmarks because I really don't find them to be too productive. As long as the game plays, that's all I really care about. As long as the frames per second are there, it's fine. Synthetic benchmarks, really, they're there just for bragging rights for your system. Oh, I got a higher score on this and this, but it doesn't really affect you in the long run. Especially if I'm not going to be doing any rendering on this computer. This is strictly for gaming and occasional internet browsing. Now, the part of the budget build that surprised me the most was the Windows 10 key. I actually got it from scdkey.com. I was very skeptical. This was my first time getting a Windows key online. I've always paid full retail for it in the past, but I figure it's a budget build. Why not go all the way? And I was very surprised. I got 2 keys for $25, and they were emailed to me within about 5 minutes. I put them into the systems, and they were verified, and now I've got full Windows 10 Home Edition. So something to consider. My next build I probably will buy full retail just because, but on a budget, I mean, $12.50 for Windows 10, you can't beat it. All right, so that about does it for this budget build. We'll revisit it in the future and do those upgrades and see if it improves performance at all. Fans and new cooler probably won't do too much for frames per second, but for peace of mind, it will help keep the system running a lot longer, I believe. All right, so that about does it on this video. I'm Joe from Panthers on Tech, and we'll see you in the next video.